The lake shimmered like a smug mirror, mocking anyone who dared disturb its peace. Hoa Karen, all 300 pounds of her, waddled to the shore, her flip-flops slapping the dirt like a war drum. She wasn't here to admire the view. No, Hoa Karen had a mission, one fueled by the kind of self-righteous fury that only comes from believing the world owes you its obedience. Her target? My boata modest, weathered fishing rig named Serenity bobbing gently by the dock I'd built with my own hands. I was tying down the ropes after a quiet morning of fishing when her shadow loomed over me, blocking the sun like an eclipse of entitlement. "Move that ugly thing," she barked, her voice sharp enough to scare the fish back into the depths. "It's ruining my view, and I'm trying to sell my lakefront property." Her chins wobbled as she gestured wildly at Serenity, as if my boat were a personal affront to her existence. I stood up slowly, wiping my hands on my jeans, and met her glare. "Your view," I said, keeping my tone even. "Last I checked, this is my dock. My lake." Her eyes narrowed into slits, and for a moment, I thought she might combust from sheer indignation. "Your lake?" she scoffed, crossing her arms so tightly her floral muumuu strained at the seams. "I've lived here for 6 months, and I've never seen you here. You're just some squatter with a rusty boat. Move it, or I'll call the cops." The audacity was almost admirable. Almost. I'd owned Lake Serenity for a decade, a gift from my late grandfather who'd bought the land in the 70s. I'd spent my childhood summers here, learning to fish, to swim, to respect the quiet beauty of this place. Hoa Karen, with her manicured nails and her "I'll speak to your manager" energy, had no idea who she was dealing with. But I wasn't about to let her ruin my day. "Call whoever you want," I said, leaning against Serenity. "But you might want to check the property records first." Her face turned a shade of red that rivaled the sunset. "Don't you dare talk back to me," she shrieked, pulling out her phone with the speed of a gunslinger. "I know people. Important people. You'll regret this." Across the lake, Mrs. Delaney, the elderly widow who lived in the cabin next door, poked her head out, her gray curls bouncing as she strained to hear. A teenage kid, probably her grandson, lingered nearby, filming the scene on his phone with a grin that screamed, "This is going viral." I gave them a small wave, trying to keep things civil, but Hoa Karen was already dialing, her voice rising to a pitch that could shatter glass. "Harassment," she screamed into the phone. "I'm being harassed by this vagrant who won't move his disgusting boat. Send someone now." She hung up, triumphant, as if she'd just won a war. "You're done," she spat, pointing a sausage-like finger at me. "You'll be out of here by sundown." I sighed, running a hand through my hair. "You sure about that, Karen?" "Don't you dare call me that," she snapped, oblivious to the irony. "My name is Hoa, and I'm a respected member of this community." Respected? That was rich. I'd heard the stories from Mrs. Delaney how Hoa had bullied the neighborhood association into repainting the community mailbox because it clashed with her aesthetic, how she'd reported a kid's lemonade stand for unpermitted business activity. Hoa Karen wasn't just a nuisance. She was a one-woman wrecking ball, tearing through our quiet lakeside community with her endless complaints. The sheriff arrived 20 minutes later, his cruiser kicking up dust on the gravel road. Sheriff Danvers was a lanky man with a permanent squint, like he was always trying to solve a puzzle. He stepped out, tipping his hat to Mrs. Delaney, who'd shuffled closer to watch the drama unfold. "All right, folks," Danvers said, his voice calm but firm. "What's the issue here?" Hoa launched into her tirade before I could open my mouth. "This man is trespassing," she declared, gesturing at me like I was a stray dog. "He's parked his filthy boat on my lakefront view, and he's refusing to move it. I demand you arrest him for harassment and trespassing." Danvers raised an eyebrow, glancing at me. "That true, Sam?" I shrugged. "She's upset about my boat. Told her this is my property, but she's not buying it." "Your property?" Hoa laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "This lake belongs to the community. I pay taxes here." Danvers sighed, pulling out a notepad. "Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to calm down. Sam, you got proof of ownership?" I nodded, walking to my truck and pulling out a folder from the glove compartment. Inside were the deeds, clear as day. Lake Serenity, all 200 acres of it, deeded to Samuel J. Carter. I handed them to Danvers, who scanned the documents with a nod. "Well, ma'am," he said, Turning to HOA. Looks like Sam's telling the truth. This is his lake. His dock. His boat. Hoa's jaw dropped, her face a mix of shock and fury. That's impossible, she sputtered. I would have known. I'm on the Homeowners Association. Doesn't change the facts, Danvers said, handing me back the folder. You got a complaint, take it up with the county. But yelling at Sam here? That's not going to solve anything. She wasn't done. Oh no. HOA Karen didn't back down, she doubled down. This is outrageous, she screamed, stomping her foot so hard I thought the dock might crack. You're all in on it, aren't you? I'm calling my lawyer. I'm reporting you for corruption. She pointed at Danvers, then at me, then at poor Mrs. Delaney, who looked like she just wanted to go back to her knitting. That's when the kid with the phone piped up. Yo, lady, it's all on video. You're kind of making a fool of yourself. HOA whipped around, her eyes blazing. You little brat. Delete that right now, or I'll sue you for defamation. The kid laughed, pocketing his phone. Good luck with that. Danvers raised a hand. Ma'am, you need to stop threatening people. You're the one causing a disturbance here. I suggest you head home before this escalates. But HOA Karen didn't know when to quit. She lunged toward me, grabbing at the ropes tying Serenity to the dock, as if she could single-handedly drag my boat away. If you won't move it, I will, she bellowed. That was her mistake. The dock was old, slick with lake water, and Hoa's flip-flops weren't exactly built for traction. She slipped, arms flailing, and landed in the shallow water with a splash that sent ripples across the lake. Mrs. Delaney gasped. The kid burst out laughing. Even Danvers had to hide a smirk. Help me, HOA screeched, thrashing in the knee-deep water. This is assault. He pushed me. I crossed my arms, unmoved. I didn't touch you. You did that all on your own. Danvers waded in, offering her a hand, but she swatted it away, still screaming about lawsuits and conspiracies. By now, a small crowd had gathered, neighbors drawn by the commotion. They whispered among themselves, shaking their heads. Hoa's reign of terror was unraveling, and everyone could see it. Ma'am, Danvers said, his patience wearing thin, you're under arrest for disorderly conduct and harassment. Let's go. He managed to haul her out of the water, her muumuu dripping and her dignity in tatters. As he cuffed her, she kept shouting, This isn't over. You'll hear from my lawyer. But no one was listening. The kid was already uploading his video, and Mrs. Delaney was clapping softly, a smile creeping across her face. As Danvers led HOA to the cruiser, I looked out at the lake, its surface calm again. Serenity bobbed gently, untouched by her chaos. This place was more than land, it was my grandfather's legacy, a sanctuary for those who respected it. HOA Karen had thought she could bully her way into owning it, but the lake had a way of humbling people. Later that evening, I sat on the dock with Mrs. Delaney, sharing a thermos of coffee as the stars came out. Think she'll learn her lesson? She asked. I chuckled. Doubt it. But the lake's still here. And so are we. The kid's video went viral by morning, racking up thousands of views and comments calling HOA Karen everything from entitled to a walking meme. Her lakefront property sold a month later at a steep discount, thanks to her reputation. As for me, I kept fishing, kept tying my ropes, kept the lake serene. Some people think they can demand the world. But the world? It doesn't bow to anyone. The end.